In this video, we're going to just work through some examples for finding volume. A couple of reminders. First off, volume is a three-dimensional measure. It measures the number of cubes that fit inside of a solid, or partial cubes when summed up. So it will have units that are cubic. So I could have something like meters cubed, inches cubed, miles cubed. These are for volumes. If it were squared, it would be an area. If it had no exponent or an exponent of 1, it would be a length or perimeter. We also had two formulas. So if I have a prism, box shape, could be a cube, that's a special case of a rectangular prism, then the volume formula is just length times width times height. If I have a rectangular pyramid, which are the only two solids that we're really dealing with, then the volume will be not 1/2, but 1/3 length times width times height. So let's dive into a couple examples, see what we've got. Find the volume of the prism below. So I see it's a prism. That means I'm going to use V equals length times width times height. I see the length is 4, the width is 2, the height is also 4. So that will be 4 times 2 times 4. Again, notice I'm not including the units when I'm doing the work, but I'm making sure to include the units at the end. It's mathematically better to have the units all the way through, but they can sometimes become confusing, or they might look like variables. It's definitely more writing, so I am fine with you dropping units when you're doing the work, as long as you remember to get them back in there at the end. 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 4 is 32, and this is a volume, so that means I have inches cubed for volume. Now I need to find the volume of the pyramid below. So I have a square pyramid, 8 by 8 centimeter square at the bottom, with a height of 6. I know that the volume formula for a pyramid is 1/3 length times width times height. So I will have 1/3, 8 times 8 times 6. I'll go to the calculator. I could do this in my head. I think it's going to be 128, but let me double check. So 1/3 times 8 times 8 times 6, 128. Okay. And again, make sure I include the units back in. So I have centimeters. It is a volume I found, so it's centimeters cubed. All right, another prism. If I recall the prism, I just have length times width times height for a rectangular prism. It's 5 long, 4 wide, 7 tall. So I have 5 times 4 times 7. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 7 should be 140. And it is a volume, so I have feet cubed for volume. Final example. Find the volume of the pyramid below. So it's a pyramid, which means I have a 1/3 length times width times height. Length times width because it is a rectangular pyramid. There's a rectangle at the bottom. So I have 1/3. The length is 9. The width is 6. And the height is 10. 1/3 of 9 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 times 10 is 180. And the units are kilometers cubed. Okay, I hope that cleared any questions up. There's a link to the original video where I describe volume in a little bit more detail down below, as well as a link to a worksheet so you can get a little bit of practice.